Well, as usual, it didn't take long for Poppy to follow up her 2023 record, Zig. Now, a lot of us thought we were going to get Zag, the potential sequel to this record, but I guess this time around she wrote songs that were kind of so different that she wanted to put this out before she put Zag out. I mean, 21 Pilots, when they were working on the Blurry Face trilogy before they released Clancy this year, they did put out Scaled and Icy in 2021 because during the pandemic they wrote completely different songs that didn't fit the story, so they kind of buffered in between a little bit, and that can be okay. And with this new Poppy record, Negative Spaces, she works with ex-Bring Me the Horizon keyboardist Jordan Fish, and officially kind of delves into the rock more than she ever has, or at least the rock and the metal. As on I Disagree, she kind of went into it but wasn't fully committed, and then, you know, we had Flux, which was more alt-rock album, and then back into Zag, even though she had a couple of heavy EPs in between all that. This thing just sort of takes off. It punches you in the face immediately, and it just keeps going. There weren't any tracks that I didn't like on this record, so in the OK section, we have Yesterday, Nothing, Surviving on Defiance, and Tomorrow. 3 of the 4 tracks were just kind of like interlude-y tracks that kind of fit as songs, kind of saying this is what the next song is going to be, or what the next couple of songs are going to be. It kind of splits the album into parts, whereas Surviving on Defiance was just a nice one, but I don't know, it just wasn't as memorable as what we get on the rest of the album, which will all be in my favorites. Have You Had Enough is a great kickoff to me. It really signifies what the album's sound is supposed to be. The Cost of Giving Up was one of the songs we got before the record, and it is also a banger. They're All Around Us, though, has to be my favorite track on the record. I don't know what it is, but it's Poppy mixing the screaming vocals in with, you know, the melodic metalcore vocals that make it go well. But then we kind of get like this little shift for a second with Crystallize, because comparing this song to the rest of the album where everything else has like heavy moments, Crystallized is just a full-on synth pop masterpiece that doesn't necessarily belong on this record, but yet somehow feels like it fits in the atmosphere of it. It's very weird. Like, I remember when she released this, I said, huh, so you hit us with heavy stuff and then this thing comes out? But I'm not complaining because it is a good song. Vital and Push Go are also songs that kind of, you know, maybe start slow a little bit, but when they pick up, they pick up. The Center's Falling Out is the heaviest thing on here, again, from start to finish, just pounding drums. Poppy screams all the way. And I feel like, too, she starts to growl a little bit more, which is weird, because usually I'm used to, like, a bleh or something like that, but she gets very growly, and that is kind of interesting because she does it well, something I really wasn't expecting her to do well, but she does it. Hey There is another one of those interludes where it's just kind of like, you know, it's there, but I like it for the fact that it's just sets up everything past it so well, going into the title track, Negative Spaces, and then New Way Out, which was the first thing we heard from this record, which I'm surprised that it's the 13th track, because usually the first single is anywhere between within the first 4 songs of the track listing, but no, the most streamed song on here right now is the 13th track because that's what was released first. But again, it is nice. I like that she kicks off saying her name, and then it just goes off into these crazy drums, and it gets insane from there. And then the finisher, Halo, which is kind of just like your typical, you know, softer metalcore song. It kind of, you know, builds up to something by the end of it and ends the album on a high note, which, I mean, this thing was already taken off from the beginning. It didn't really need to end on a super high note, but it did, leaving you going like, this is what we've been waiting for, her to fully commit to this. I'm not saying that I necessarily want this every album. I just wanted to see an album where she fully just takes off and doesn't limit herself to being like, okay, I gotta do the rock and pop thing. She just goes all in. She shows you that she's angry and she's pissed while also trying to reflect and move on from the bad things that happened in her life. And it makes for one hell of an album, that's for sure. One of my favorites of the year, one that I've been anticipating. I didn't necessarily know if she was going to release an album this year, because sometimes it's usually album, EP, and then album, but again, we get albums in back-to-back years because that's just what Poppy's been doing since 2016, releasing at least one project every year, and it seemingly gets better and better. And to me, this is miles ahead of Zig. Not that I hate Zig, it was just kind of like, after everything she had been doing, and then giving us that, it was kind of underwhelming, but coming out right back with this, it's great. I'm happy about it. 8.5 out of 10, one of my favorites of the year. Would recommend this to anybody, especially, you know, people who love metalcore and even love Bring Me the Horizon, because with Jordan Fish's production on here, there's definitely a lot of similarities there, and I can see them collabing in the future at some point. I mean, she's already collabed with Knock Loose and Bad Omens, so that collab with Bring Me the Horizon has to be coming very, very soon in the near future. But until then, I guess we'll just have to sit here and kind of just wish it into existence. But that's it for me. Tell me in the comments below, what did you think if you've heard this album? And until then, I will catch you all in the next one.